Lincoln had now replaced Burnside with Fighting Joe Hooker. Jackson knew the name was well-deserved. He had come up against Hooker at 2nd Manassas and again at Antietam. Hooker had devised a plan he believed foolproof. He was going to flank Lee and squeeze the Army of Northern Virginia in a vast pincher movement. Hooker had the numbers to do it, nearly 134,000 men, which was over twice the size of the Southern strength. 50,000 Union troops would occupy Lee's attention with a feinting maneuver downstream, while his advancing Column 5 Corps converged at the Chancellorsville crossroads on Lee's unsuspecting left flank. But he soon guessed at Hooker's plan. Lee ordered Major Richard Anderson's division to move west toward Chancellorsville and deter any enemy advance. Jackson was to reinforce Anderson. Jackson ordered a two-pronged offensive, one along the plank road, the other along the turnpike. Hooker suddenly lost his nerve. To the astonishment of his officers, Fighting Joe ordered them to fall back to Chancellorsville and dig earthworks. He was putting his massive force on the defensive. In the evening, Lee and Jackson had a meeting. Neither could understand what Hooker was up to, but Jackson was convinced that Hooker had lost his nerve and would withdraw across the Rappahannock before morning. Lee was not so optimistic. As they talked, Jeb Stuart arrived with encouraging news. Hooker's right flank was exposed and vulnerable. The news inspired a plan that would become historic. Jackson would lead his corps on a risky 12-mile march around the Union Army and destroy Hooker's right flank in a spectacular surprise attack. The morning of May 2nd, the 2nd Corps was roused and the men were soon on the march. In mid-afternoon, Jackson crested a knoll that gave him a view down on Federal forces who were relaxed and unprepared. Jackson wrote to Lee his final dispatch from the field.
I hope as soon as practical to attack. I trust that an ever-kind Providence will bless us with great success.
2 hours later, 21,000 Confederates formed a line that extended a mile on either side of the road. A bugle call announced the attack. Suddenly, a stampede of rabbits, deer, and foxes rushed through the camps. The Bluecoats were amused by the animal onrush, but not alarmed. The men were eating supper, and a band was playing in a pine grove. Then the searing rebel yell pierced the woods. By 6:30 that evening, Jackson had achieved his objective.